So yeah, welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel, proudly sponsored now by Star Sports Bet. This is our official Cheltenham Festival preview evening 2022. We're very excited to be in front of a live crowd this evening. As you can see on your chairs, we've been given plenty of stuff to give to you guys. So you'll see a free copy of the March edition of the Racing Head magazine. We've got an article in there, do check that one out. We've also got a lovely festival planner courtesy of Hacked Up Horse Racing Gifts. You'll see that as well. Plenty of time to make some notes as well off some of the panel. And then we also have a preview from the Star Sports ambassador, Davey Russell, in there. You can get his thoughts on the races as well. Star Sports have also given a small card there telling you how if you sign up, you'll get £20 if you bet £20 with them. Hopefully tonight we'll find you a couple of winners you can use that £20 on. Let's start off by introducing the panel. As always, I'm stuck with my right-hand man, Jack Dorling. Jack's a journalist. He does a lot of work. He's currently studying. He's currently studying at university, and he's looking to potentially break into the racing world. I'm sure he will do with the amount of winners he seems to put up on our channel. We also have jockey and horse racing pundit Mattie Batchelor on the far end there. Hopefully he'll find plenty of winners. I'm sure he's got plenty of stories from the weighing room for us. And we have apprentice jockey next to Jack for the Gary Moore stable, Niall Houlihan. Hopefully he can give us a bit of an Irish angle as well with his Irish accent.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to hear you.
Does he come with subtitles?
Sorry?
Does he come with subtitles?
We'll sort that out, yeah, we'll make sure. Jack, it's our first ever preview in front of a live audience, which is exciting, but we're also going to have full crowds back at Prestbury Park for the Cheltenham Festival. I mean, it's going to be so good, isn't it?
Oh, I just can't wait. I mean, we've only got a few days left, but I mean, it's going to feel like an absolute eternity. But hopefully we can have a nice little evening and hopefully pick a few winners, eh?
Yeah, let's hope so. Mattie, you're an experienced jockey. That's probably a fair way of putting it.
You're going to say I'm old?
Well, it was the polite way. But you know a lot of the lads in the way, and what's it going to be like on that opening day, especially knowing that full crowds are going to be back?
Yeah, it's a great buzz. It's the best place to be in the world, especially in the weighing room. But you know what? I've been there for the last, few years. I've earned more there working than I did riding. So
Perfect. And Niall, you've ridden for your boss, Editor Dajit, twice this season there, winning aboard him. What's it like at Cheltenham? What is it that makes Cheltenham a true test of a horse?
It's a very undulating track. It tests stamina, stiff finish, tests speed, getting a good posse, it tests their balance because it's quite undulating. Their jumping comes into question to come up quick around there, as Mattie knows as well. And look, it's just a total test of a top-class athlete. They have to tick all the boxes. They can't really get away with anything. If they're too keen, you don't get home. If you're too late back, you don't get there. So, thankfully, Editor Dajit was just an absolute boss he was, and I just sat there and had to look pretty, really.
Yeah, well, hopefully Niall will have a decent couple of rides at the festival. Looking forward, and hopefully has a decent winner. He was actually meant to ride at Doncaster today in the 2 o'clock. He was probably lucky enough to have a non-runner there because he probably wouldn't have made it in time from Doncaster. So, yeah, let's see what he can come up with
the
tonight.
way he drove down here, I think we would have done.
Right, we'll start off with the opening race of the festival. This is the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Constitution Hill is your 2-1 favourite, along with Sir Gerhard. Dysart Dynamo 5-2, John Bond 4-1, Kilcrut is 6-1, Mighty Potter 10s, and Pied Piper is 12-1. We've got 14-1 bar these. Now, what a start this is to the festival. I'll tell you what, we have 2 of Willie Mullins' big guns running here, along with 2 of Nicky Henderson's weapons. They're all sitting at the top of the market. We know that John Bond and Constitution Hill are definitely going to go here. We just don't know what's going to happen with these Mullins horses at the moment. Mattie, do you think the British are going to kick things off with a winner here?
I think we will, yeah. I think the Irish are going to dominate again, looking at some of what they're bringing over. But Constitution Hill, what he's done at Sandown is impressive. Like, Sandown's not an easy place. Again, you need a lot of stamina, and that time of year, you're always running on softish ground. So, and he's got a bit of speed, and he stays. And when you go to Cheltenham, that's a lot of people don't realise you can have all the speed in the world, but you need a bit of stamina as well, because all these top class races, they go so quick. You need to have something in reserve, and you need to have stamina. And he seems to have that in abundance. And I think he will kick off the start with an English win. I just think he looks the real deal, and he's going to make a hell of a chaser.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, do you think the heavy ground, the fact that he's been winning on heavy ground, do you think that could be a serious worry? I mean, the thing that I've got down here reminds me a lot of the fact that we had Fiddler on the Roof winning the Tolworth a few years back on heavy ground, and it all seemed to go wrong in the Supreme. Would you be concerned about the ground with Constitution Hill?
Do you know what? I'm not concerned because it's the same everywhere, every year. You go through November, December, January, all these horses are running on it. They go to Cheltenham and still produce it. And I'm a great believer that good horses will go on anything. And heavy ground, when you go on heavy ground, some of it's really wet and soft. So good ground horses will get away with it. Unless it's really gluey and horrible, then a horse like him will struggle. So no, I don't think it. I think a good horse go through it, and I think he'll go through anything.
Okay, Jack, you can probably talk us through more of the flip-flops on the old exchanges for this, where Sir Gerhard and Dysart Dynamo are actually going to go. Do we think Sir Gerhard is definitely going to go here? Because he seems like a horse I really fancy, and I think he'll win it if going here.
I mean, when it comes to Willie Mullins, I don't think there's any definite about where anything's going to go. But I think it's a little bit of square pegs with both of them. I think they've been so impressive over 2 miles. I don't really know why you want to step either of them up, if I'm being honest. I think Dysart Dynamo, the way he won that Moscow Flyer, he made Gringo de Broy look like a handicapper, and even adamantly chosen. I mean, he wasn't disgraced in the Challow Gringo de Brow. I think he's got so much ability. The only thing I'm worried about is Cheltenham going to come a bit too quick for him? He just looks so novice over his fences. I know he hasn't literally come off the bridle yet, and he's won over 2 mile 2 in a bumper. But for me, it seems like an interesting race in the fact that Constitution Hill was pleased from like a time point of view. I know people don't really like to look at times too much, but Constitution Hill, his debut, he was electric. Those final sectionals were absolutely electric. Jambon, I really can't have, if I'm being honest. I think he's a lot more style than substance at the moment. He's just gone a little bit too slow early doors in his races. He's shown a very good pace to actually put it to bed. But I mean, he was 5 seconds slower than Tommy's Oscar at Haydock last time out. I know at Ascot, they literally went an absolute crawl, but he was 16 seconds slower than the bumper that day as well. And I mean, it's tough to rule any of them out at the front of the market. But if they go a breakneck speed early doors, Kilcrook could lead from the front. So could Sir Gerhard if he goes there, and even Dysart Dynamo. I just think it could perhaps play to a late finish or a Constitution Hill. I think that will definitely suit. Jambon, again, as I say, I'm not too fond of. And I think if Sir Gerhard does go here, I think he's definitely the one to beat. I can't see him going off any shorter than 2-1, mind you. I think he'll probably be 6-4, 7-4. But I think even if you look at outside the front four in the market, I mean, Dysart Dynamo and So Gerhard are both rated 150. And on ratings, it's not actually that quality. I mean, Appreciate It won it off 153, Shishkin 153, Classical Dream 154, and Somerville Boy 150. And from that, El Fabiolo is one that I keep going back to. He was very, very impressive on his sole start over hurdles on New Year's Day, which Sam Roy also won last year. Mr. Coldstone won it. Hasn't really gone on to many things. But I think El Fabiolo, a big price, could hopefully run into the places just if the front four are all hype.
There you go. Seems like Jack quite likes Cigar, but a decent each way shout there. Niall, what are the vibes on course, mate? You've been on track a lot recently. You know, what's all the talking horses for this race?
He's gone on about John Bond there now, and I actually personally quite like him, I do. I think none of the races really ran to suit him, personally, because he's won a point around Drummahan. Quite stiff tracks, but he definitely stays. He's a stayer. And as Mattie has alluded to, it's going to be a very quick race. And I feel it could just set him up to be... I know Aidan Coleman is quite happy with how the horse is. And I know that if he didn't think the horse would have a chance against Constitution Hill, he wouldn't run against him. So I'd be sweeting him out, to be honest myself.
No, I think it's a really fascinating race. I really like Sir Gerhard. I think he will go and win this if going here. I mean, he's put up a time quicker than Honeysuckle did at a Dublin Racing Festival over the same trip. I know Honeysuckle will probably get onto her in a minute, but she didn't look the best that day. But I think Sir Gerhard, his jumping was... disgraced a bit, but I don't think it was as bad as people were saying, and I do think that he's probably going to be the one to beat if turning up here. Let's move on to the second race. This is the Arkle Novices Chase. This is on the Tuesday at 2:10, over 2 miles. Edwardstone 2-1, Blue Lords 3-1, Rivière de Tel 7-2, Auton Couleur. I'm sure you're going to see plenty of French accents from me tonight. 6-1, Saint Sam 7-1, third time lucky 12s, and 14-1 bar those in here. Now, I wouldn't say this is the most vintage Arkle we've ever had, but Niall, do you think the British could kick things off to a 2-0 start here?
Edwardstone, he's been faultless all season, he has. I do like the Irish contingent of Blue Lord and Rivière de Tel. Personally, I think her getting the mayor's allowance is to her benefit against these older lads, young horses, young lads, but... Edwardstone, he has been foot perfect, but what has he been beating? For pleasure, third time lucky. There's can pick holes in it, he can. And that's why don't think they will, and I think it could go the Irish way of either Blue Lord or Riviere de Tel. And personally, at 72, I'd have Riviere de Tel.
Okay. Yeah, Riviere de Tel was unlucky probably not to win the last day. Mattie, I'm sure Cannon's probably looking forward to this ride a hell of a lot. Lots of people saying he's probably the banker of day one. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you said it's not a vintage arc, or Cannon couldn't give two monkeys. He's going to go and win an arc or grade one, and his paycheck is going to be brilliant. But I think I'll give third time lucky in each way chance, because he's chased Edwardstone. He's only been beaten 4.5 lengths, and at 25 to 1 shot, he's not finished that far behind him. I think he could be a good each way value. But Edwardstone, I mean, I was talking to Tommy the other day when I was at the races. I don't go racing much often, but I was chatting away to him, and he just said he's just such a likeable horse. He said he just does everything easy. He jumps, and to ride a 2-miler that settles, and when you push the button goes. I mean, like Warwick's not an easy place to jump round, and the ones down the back there, they come at you quick and fast, and he's just been awesome. And he said, Tommy just said he's so easy. He's just he can't wait to go to Cheltenham with him.
Yeah, he's a horse that's definitely improved a lot since his hurdling days. He seems like a much better chaser. Jack, I said earlier about Riviere de Tel probably being unlucky, hitting the last day and then coming back and didn't quite get to Blue Lord. But do you think that potentially it's not as weak as people are saying? There could potentially be a star in here with something like a Riviere de Tel?
No, if I'm being honest. I think the winner may come from that race, but I don't think it's either Blue Lord or Riviere de Tel. I'm actually a big fan of Saint Sam. Now, I do respect Edwardstone a lot. I think he's very versatile with regards to ground. He travels, he jumps, and I think he does have a great chance for Alan King. But Saint Sam's only had the 2 runs over fences. On his chase debut, I mean, he led from the front and kicked clear in really good style. He put about 6 lengths in between himself and the second-placed horse from the last to the line. And I mean, although he's 5-year-olds don't really have a great record in this. I mean, they still return a profit to a £1 stake, which I always look for. But I mean, he made all in such good style. He tried to do the same last time out when in behind Riviere de Tel and Blue Lord. He went at too fast a pace. I think he then rallied from the last to the line to only be beaten 3 lengths. Now, if For Pleasure goes from the front, I think St. Sam is probably going to be at the mercy of For Pleasure. But if St. Sam can dictate from the front and do what he did on chase debut, I think he does have a good chance at a relatively good each way price.
There we go. Okay, St. Sam each way. I mean, my selection here, Magic Days.
If I know Alex Hales, For Pleasure will be dictating from the front.
But Magic Days here, I think, look, 14 to 1 selection, potentially a decent each way shout. A bit like Riviere de Tel, was beaten by Concertista, was also beaten by Jeremy's Flame, who's in second that day, who since came out and won. I think generally she's a 2-miler. Again, like Niall was saying, weight allowance can be key. Very similar in some ways to Put the Kettle On. When Put the Kettle On went and won this, they've put the horse away and left her for quite a while. I think she's got plenty of improvements still to come, and I think in potentially, like I say, what is a weak Arkle, she could definitely be a decent price in here. So yeah, we've got 1 selection for Riviere de Tel, 1 for Edwardstone, St. Sam each way, and Magic Days each way as well. We haven't had one that we've really agreed on yet, so potentially we're going to get that now, which will be the Champion Hurdle, which is the feature on day 1. This is a grade 1 over 2 miles. Honeysuckle is your 2 to 1 on favourite here. Appreciate It 7 to 2. Tiapu is 8 to 1. Epatante 10 to 1. Zanahir 12 to 1. Adagio 16s. Then you're looking at 25 to 1. Bar these. Now, we have got a couple of giveaways tonight and a few nice little gifts courtesy of Hacked Up Horse Racing Gifts. Whoever can answer this first, I guess I'll go on the shout. I'll throw it over to you, or you can come collect it at the interval. But how many times has Honeysuckle gone unbeaten in her career?
13.
14, right there. Yeah, pass the socks just there. There we go. The Honeysuckle socks.
Gutted, I really wanted them socks.
No, there we go.
Substitution. Here, come up here again.
There you go. Perfect for a day at the races, they are. Yeah, look, lads. The Queen of Racing, she's back to defend her crown. Jack, look, this is really interesting because I've been watching a lot of the Cheltenham previews out there at the moment, and people are saying that she didn't look herself the last day, which I completely agree with, but some people are calling her just an above-average horse in a bad era. Is that fair in any way at all?
Not at all. Those people need to get their ears and eyes checked. I mean, yeah, Matt Chapman's saying she's not that good. I mean, you've gone unbeaten 14 times. It doesn't matter what's put in front of you. If you're beating Sharjah year after year, you're definitely not an above-average mare. She's an absolute superstar. Look, year after year, I try and get her beaten, and I always fall victim to her proving me wrong. Benny de Deux, I can't believe it to this day. she probably should have beaten Honeysuckle on that day, I think. But look, I can never back appreciate it after such a lengthy break. I know he was so impressive in the Supreme last year. Tiupu, I think, has to improve about 10, 15 pounds if he wants to get anywhere near Honeysuckle. I know he's very progressive, but I think it's all Honeysuckle. I know I'm going to try and get her beaten, but this year I'm actually not. She jumps, she travels, and hopefully she'll find. I can't have anything in the without market now. Sharjah's not there, and I'm actually just going to stick with Honeysuckle. I think she's too good.
Yeah, she's not a sexy price at all in here. It might be a race you just sit back and enjoy. Look, Mattie, she is very, very good in my opinion. I think she's going to pull out the fire here despite sort of idling the last day. It's easy to say when she's a 2-1 on shot, but yeah, what's your thoughts on her?
Listen, you can only beat what's in front of you. Listening to Matt Chapman, he's an above-average presenter anyway. So whatever he says goes straight over my head. I mean, anyone who's false tan, you can't take him seriously anyway, can he? Looks like an Oompa Loompa, doesn't he, from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? No, listen, she's the real deal. Do you know what? I'd love to see Tommy's Oscar run well. Anne Hamilton, they're a hard-working family. He's done nothing wrong. He's tough. And they are playing for second fiddle. Appreciate it. If anyone can get horse ready after a year off is Willie Mullins. But I don't care who you are. It's still hard to come back in a Grade 1 and put up any sort of show. If he does, it's some training performance. But Epperton, last 2 wins, again, you give her a good chance. Listen, Adagio as well. I mean, he just got beat by Goshen, going right-handed. And he's well known. He's got an engine. Is it the same engine? I think it started off as a Porsche. I think it's getting down to a Rodman Reliant now at the minute. But, yeah, it's very hard to see beyond Honeysuckle for me.
Yeah, no, look, first of all, I know that we both like the same horse in here, who was in a battle with the almighty Goshen. I'm glad that I can get him into a Cheltenham preview despite him not running there.
That was always going to happen.
It was always going to happen at some stage. Look, I just think that potentially Adagio's run, I know that the horse had a bit of an injury trouble towards sort of the middle of the season.
I believe it actually wasn't injured, I think it was wind up it was.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. And I mean, the horse has now since come out, run a really decent race behind the Moorlab.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And I just think that potentially there's improvement still to come. We look at that Greatwood handicap run that he put in, where he was second off top weight. And I think everything that's been in that race has since wanted to come out and win. And he even won from your yard, Botox has, who was actually 8th in that race, has come out and won the National Spirit just the other week. He gave a lot of weight away that day, Adagio. Is he the one to play without Honeysuckle? Do you think he genuinely has the ability to win this?
I'd wonder where he has the ability to beat the Wondermare. That is being honest. I like horses that are coming back after the second run from wind up, because first run they always have to kind of get over it and trust themselves. So I do think the second run should show improvement for it. Like I said, into a handicap, the Greatwood, I rode it myself that day. It was end-to-end gallop. It was fast and furious, and he didn't actually get the best of runs, carrying a lot of weight against West Cork, who was thrown in at the weight it was. So he's got the handicap experience as well, which is always good going into a champion hurdle. Like second to Goshen the last day, I know Fly McIntyre rides him out in the morning times, and he was very confident he would come on for the run. So at 16-1, I think he's definitely each way play his chance or bet him without.
Yeah, I genuinely think he's got a really decent each way chance in here. He's definitely going to be my bet on day one. I'm going to have a decent go on him each way. Does anyone here actually, I mean, put your hands up, does anyone here actually believe that Appreciate It can beat Honeysuckle for a show of hands? Anyone actually believe it could happen? There we go. See, it was as simple as that. An easy question. Easy question. Right, let's go on to the Mares' Hurdle. This is a really interesting race. A Grade 1 over 2.5 miles. Tell Me Something Girls, your 11-4 favourite. Concertista is 7-2. Royal Kahala 5-1. Stormy Island 5-1. Burning Victory, Heaven Help Us, and Queensbrook, they're all 7s and 8-1 bar those. Now, Niall, a really weird race here because we've got last year's Mares' Novice Hurdle winner coming here, and a horse that hasn't won all season. I don't want to bring up the Concertista thing because she broke my heart last year after winning the Mares' Novice Hurdle and then going to the Mares' Hurdle and getting pipped by Jack's Tip on the day, which was even worse. But it's a really open-looking race. One thing I will say is, where are the British mares in here? Because the Irish dominate the top of this market.
We haven't got any. They're useless. The best we got is
Marie's Rock.
Marie's Rock or Dan Skelton's. Ella finished third in the bumper last year.
Bell.
Yeah.
But you just can't compete with them.
And it's also, he generally, breeding wise, Ireland's a much bigger producer of young stock foals, obviously, and if you're selling towards Ingle, generally you buy a gelding, you do. So hence why we're left with the mares to play around with. And thankfully, you've now given us the mares chase, the mares hurdle, and the mares mounted hurdle for Cheltenham, which is like a 3 easy strikes for us it is. Hence why I'm going for Stormy Ireland.
Well, I think Cheltenham form's obviously key. I think a lot of people in here will probably be, looking at last year's runs and looking at horses who have performed at Cheltenham. Stormy Island's one of those and did look very good in here. And like I say, it's very open. Any of these could go and win this. Mattie, I'm sure you're with one of the Irish mares. There's nothing else to go with. Who are you going to be with in here?
Burning Victory for me, just third behind Classical Dream. Flooring Porter was second that race. I just think what I've seen of her, I just like her attitude, and I think she'd be one to beat, and I think she's a bit of value, 7-1.
Right, okay, yeah. Jack and I both like the horse actually finished second that day behind Burning Victory, and that's Queensbrook. Jack, tell us a bit about Queensbrook and why you fancy this horse.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Queensbrook, if I'm being honest. I think she's got a cracking chance on day one. I think she just showed class from day dot. She went and won her bumper by 21 lengths, then finished third in the champion bumper behind Fernie Hollow and Appreciate It. And in terms of British form, that is the best British form you can have behind probably two of the best Irish horses in training there is. Now, looking back at that champion bumper, she also finished ahead of Third Time Lucky and Esky Lane, who are now rated, 153 and 146. In a novice campaign, I think they were trying to run her over 2 miles when she clearly didn't want 2 miles. But the only thing for me is she is a bit susceptible to an injury. Of course, she's quite hard to get fit. Gordon Elliott has said she's quite hard to get fit. She was second to Sky Ace over 2 miles, and that was when Sky Ace was in the peak of her powers before she went and won a Grade 1, and then behind Concertista and Manila Melody, and they were just both a lot more experienced on the day. Now, she needed a run at Wexford, but I was extremely impressed with the way she dismissed Ciel de Neige over 2 mile forward. It was the first time I thought the penny had actually dropped with her, and she stuck her neck out all the way to the line to stretch away and win that. Yeah, again, she had another setback. Gordon was worried he'd have to have a race course gallop with her, but luckily last time out at Punchestown, I thought she showed all the elements of a classy mare. She sent her to the race that Black Tears won, Apple's Jade finished second in. Of course, they both won the mares, but he emphasised she will need the run. Now, I thought she jumped well. She sat about 6 lengths off Burning Victory, but she closed all the way to the line. Now, she was 11 lengths clear of Dysart Diamond in third, who I think is a respectable mare as well on a day. But considering how Punchestown on that inner track, it's so tight, I think this stiff finish at Cheltenham is really going to suit her. Of course, she's £3 better off with Burning Victory. I think Burning Victory on her own accord is a very good mare as well. Tell Me Something Girl, I completely understand the reason she's favourite. Of course, was carrying 11 stone 9 last time out and stayed on all the way to the line. But I just think, as a value play, I think Gordon Elliott has a great chance of winning it again. Of course, it was Denise Foster last year, but I think Gordon has a great chance of winning it again with Black Tears. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Queensbrook.
Queensbrook, there we go. Yeah, sorry. Queensbrook is like I say, a really interesting contender, just due to the fact that 10 runs. In all of her 10 runs, she's placed in the first 3. So, in my opinion, she's an absolute each-way bet to nothing in here. I think she's a real star mare. I think Cod seemed very excited when talking about this horse and the chance of her. I think that the way she ran in behind Burning Victory, the time was very good, and she was staying on stoutly. Just what you need at Cheltenham. Every race there is going to be run at a hell of a gallop, I'm sure. So, I think Queensbrook will be staying on. I think she'll be the selection in here. Now we'll go on to a race we won't preview for too long. It's one of the Grade 2s on the card, the National Hunt Chase for the amateur jockeys. Statler's 5-2, Run Wild Fred 11-4, Vanillier is 9-2, Fury Road 15-2, 3 under through 5 is 15-2, Farouk Delen is 8-1 and 10-1 bar these. If I was to guess some of the jockey bookings here, I'm guessing that Jamie Codd's probably going to go for Run Wild Fred. I think Patrick Mullins will probably be aboard Statler, and I don't know whether I know for sure, but has O'Connor been booked for Vanillier? I don't know if anyone knows that officially, but I don't know. Oh, okay. Okay, it would be interesting to see. But it's always to do it. This is the Patrick Mullins and Jamie Codd race, usually. They tend to go and win this. Mattie, is it between the two of them here, or is there anything at a price?
I think Vanillier, Gavin Cromwell, he's a shrewd man. He won the Albert Bartlett's last year. He's run it over fences. It's just been knocking at the door, finishing third. I think he's a better horse. He's a graded horse. He's a Grade 1 winner. I think he's got form in the book. I think he's better than all this, and I think that's why Gavin Cromwell's chose this, because I think it's easy pickings for him. I honestly do.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be with you in this, but Niall, you were at Fontwell on National Spirit Hurdle Day. Obviously, Darva Star came over for the yard. I'm sure sort of the team were there. What were the vibes with regards to Vanillier?
I was speaking to a few of the team I was, and they are very hopeful. As I said, he's their best chance of the meeting.
Oh, okay,
And,
there we go.
Don't quote
That's
me
a good
on that.
everyone. Any time you say that, no matter who it is,
They're all
always
very,
start
they're all
backing it.
very hot about him. And look,
Flooring Porter.
Vanillier. Vanillier is the one in here, I can tell
I
you
think
that.
so. I think he's definitely. It's his race. It is.
Yeah, I think look, the horse stays all day. Jack, go on, mate. Just go and make it a full house for us and tell us that
How
this.
could I follow that? He just told you Gavin Cromwell's best chance of the festival is Vanillier.
we
How am
need-
I meant to
Well,
go to that,
if
eh?
you look at the screen now, everyone's gone Vanillier, and you've decided to go against all of us here with Run Wild Fred, and you look a right muppet.
Yeah, I could do, but as you said, it is the Jamie Codd and Patrick Mullins show. And I think Jamie Codd is going to have the winner here with Run Wild Fred. Look, this race just suits second season chasers. Run Wild Fred, I think he's as consistent as they come. Last time out, when he lost to Fury Road, he clattered into the second last, I think it was. And I think he's just exceptional. He was exceptional when finishing second in the Irish National last year. Statler's interesting, but I just think he's so unexposed. I think this kind of suits someone a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more experience. And I think Run Wild Fred, I mean, you've made a great case for Vanillier. I just don't know if he has the class of Run Wild Fred, and hopefully he'll be able to battle it out all the way to the line.
There we go. There is our selections for the National Hunt Chase, and Vanillier is, Gavin Cromwell's best chance of the meeting.
Heard it here.
There we go. So those who fancy Flooring Porter might be in a bit of trouble.